Robert Obendorfer III was a quiet man, but he was also a world-renowned cat grooming specialist who lived in Paris, Texas. Now, Mr. Obendorfer put Paris, Texas on the map as far as cat grooming was concerned. People would bring their cats all the way from all over the world to see Mr. Obendorfer in his specialty cat grooming studio right there in Paris, Texas. It was put in big magazines. People would come from all over the world to see Mr. Obendorfer do his work. His signature move was the cat updo. He could take a Siberian cat, and also he specialized in the flat-nosed Persian cats, and he could give them an updo like nobody had ever seen before. And he was world-renowned for this. He actually held the Guinness Book of World Records record for the best-looking Siberian and Persian cat updos in the world, right there in Paris, Texas. Well, Mr. Oberdorfer enjoyed a long, prosperous career having his cat grooming studio right there in Paris, Texas. And like I said, frequently visited from dignitaries from all over the world. When he hit the age of 65, he finally decided he had done his last cat updo and retired. So in order to have a good send-off and a good retirement, he gathered a close group of friends, about 12 folks, to join him down at Smitty's restaurant there in Paris, Texas. They had a 3-course meal and of course a huge cake at the end. But what was unique is before the end of the dinner, 4 of his friends that were attending Mr. Obendorfer's retirement party from the cat grooming business came down ill. They were feeling nauseous, complaining of a headache, those sort of things. And so they actually retired from the party a little bit early. So they said their goodbyes, gave warm hugs, and congratulated Mr. Obendorfer on his retirement from the Siberian and Persian cat grooming updo business, and went about their way. Well, a few days passed, nothing remarkable happened, but nobody had heard from Robert Obendorfer for a few days. And so eventually his friends got concerned, and they sent out in a goodwill check for him. So officers responded. The second they got on the scene, they smelled a very foul odor, but not what you'd be expecting. It actually smelled like something burned. So everyone was, of course, concerned. First responders are there on the scene at Mr. Obendorfer's home, which also was his cat grooming studio there, where he would do those incredible cat updos on the Persian and Siberian cats. And when they kicked the door in, they found Mr. Obendorfer face down in his living room, surrounded by what appeared to be burn marks. And he was unconscious. They immediately started CPR, called in additional resources, and they got Mr. Obendorfer to the hospital. He was immediately placed in a medically induced coma for his own well-being as his body recovered. He was on very strong antibiotics, and everybody was very concerned about him. So what they did is they slowly and gradually brought him out of that medically induced coma. And it took up to 3 weeks to get him out of that medically induced coma. And what they found were burn marks all over his face, covering his arms, and he also had chunks of skin missing from his forearm on his right arm. And so police investigators, the whole time, the medical staff is dealing with Mr. Obendorfer, trying to find out exactly what's going on to him, caring for his wounds. Meanwhile, investigators there in Paris, Texas, were investigating the scene and trying to find out everything that went on. They found a lot of burn marks all over the carpet, and they found, what was strange is that they found 3 Persian cats on the scene that had matching identical singe marks on their forearms as well. One in particular, Mr. Whiskers, looked particularly interesting. You'll have to stick around for part 2 to see exactly what happens to Mr. Oberdorfer. You're not going to believe it. Make sure you click the subscribe thing. I'll see y'all soon.